everyone, and welcome. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California. It is October 22, 2020. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents across North America. Philip Toledo in Atlanta, Georgia.
Governor Kemp pushes for economic growth in Georgia.
Jim Sewell in Pensacola reports about Pensacola Bay Bridge being closed due to damage sustained during Hurricane Sally. Nicole Padilla, Baton Rouge, reports about Louisiana honoring Senator John Breaux on the 30th year of the Brew Act. Anna Cui in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Business as usual in Las Vegas, despite increase in COVID-19 cases.
Annabelle de Mesa in Glendale, California.
Dodger Stadium partners with home plates to bring ballpark food to fans and homes.
Prorrogacion in North Hills, California.
Phase 1 of COVID-19 vaccine clinical trial begins in Orange County.
JP Era in Sacramento, California reports about how the city assists small businesses via virtual events. For today's business news, Bobby Soriano in New York reports about Facebook looking to finally make profit from WhatsApp, streaming service Quibi shutting down, and today's major earnings announcements. For arts and culture, Chris Gonzalez in Alexandria, Virginia reports about Centro Rizal, Washington, D.C. promoting hope and tradition through face mask designs. And in observance of National Color Day, a conversation about how color impacts our lives. Our coverage begins now. First, an overview of how COVID-19 looks right now. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, October 22, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 41,500,000. Top three on the list of countries with recorded cases are the U.S. with 8.3 million, India with 7.7 million, and Brazil with 5.2 million. Sadly, this virus has now already claimed more than 1,134,000 lives worldwide. Top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are, once again, the U.S. at more than 222,000, Brazil at more than 155,000, and India at more than 116,000. The World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa says that the anticipated large-scale introduction of antigen-based rapid diagnostic tests is a potential game changer in the continent's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
African countries are gearing up to introduce antigen-based rapid diagnostic tests on a large scale. And this will be a game changer, we think, in the fight against COVID-19. These high-quality rapid tests will help meet the huge unmet need for testing in Africa. We've seen that African countries have faced a significant gap throughout the pandemic. For example, Senegal has significantly boosted its testing capacity, but it still has testing 14 times less than the Netherlands. Nigeria is testing 11 times less than Brazil. With rapid testing, authorities can stay a step of COVID-19 ahead by scaling up active case finding in challenging environments like crowded urban neighborhoods and communities out in the countryside.
Moeti warns that Africa faces a pivotal moment in its fight against the coronavirus as cases and deaths rise after eased lockdowns and travel curbs. Over the past month, there has been a 7% average increase in weekly COVID-19 cases across the continent and an 8% average increase in weekly deaths, according to the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Meanwhile, the Senate Judiciary Committee pushed through U.S. President Donald Trump's conservative pick for the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett, Thursday as Democrats boycotted the vote, saying it was too close to the November 3 election. A unanimous vote, with all Democrats absent, sets the stage for full Senate approval at the beginning of next week on Barrett. On Wednesday, Democrats labeled the Rush nomination process as, quote, a sham that broke former Republican promises to never vote on a Supreme Court nominee so close to a presidential election. In a statement, they said, We will not grant this process any further legitimacy by participating in the committee markup of this nomination just 12 days before the culmination of an election that is already underway. But Republican Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham dismissed their action and moved up the vote by almost 4 hours. At a press conference following the vote by the Senate Judiciary Committee, Republicans to advance the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court for a full Senate vote. The committee's Democrats who boycotted the vote joined Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to denounce the Republicans' rushed process to confirm Barrett ahead of the November 3 election. Take a look.
I am here to stand with my colleagues on the Judiciary Committee who are boycotting today's committee markup on the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. This is not a decision the members of the committee have taken lightly, but a Republican majority has left us no choice. We are boycotting this illegitimate hearing. The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett is the most illegitimate process I have ever witnessed in the Senate, and her potential confirmation will have dire, dire consequences for the Senate, for the Supreme Court, and our entire country for generations to come.
When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Atlanta, Georgia, Pensacola, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
It says the best defense is still containment.
We are in uncharted territory.
Final volume 450. The 5 on to 100%. Traffic back. Consumption.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
products. Bakit naman? Ang raw materials daw ng mask at tissue products ay iisa lang. Saan naman galing ang balitang yan? Ay basta, narinig ko lang din. Maraming dilim kayang nagpo-post sa Facebook at Twitter, kaya kung ako sa'yo, kumuha ka na din. Sige na't mauna na ako sa'yo
Huwag basta-basta magpaniwala
sa mga nakikita
o nababasa sa social media.
Magsaliksik at i-verify ang lahat ng impormasyon
nakukuha sa internet.
Tandaan,
maging responsable tayo
sa paggamit ng social media
nang hindi magdulot ng panic sa iba.
Kung paanong dapat labanan ng COVID-19
ay gayon din ang ating pagsugpo
sa black propaganda
at maling impormasyon.
Dennis Lu,
Lou Omelda,
General Partosa,
Tyranel Pililu,
Hannibal Arevalo,
EBC,
Japan,
Euro.
We live in interesting times.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. The global economy has suffered severely during this pandemic, and it's felt everywhere. In Georgia, in an effort to boost economic growth in the state, Governor Brian Kemp introduces what he dubs as Rural Strike Team. In Atlanta, Bureau Chief Philip Toledo joins us this evening.
Thanks, Alan. Yesterday, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announced a rural strike team to focus on, quote, bringing jobs, investment, and economic development to all corners of the Peach State. Now, this strike team will work to promote regional economic development assets and partner with local communities to attract new companies for investment. This is aimed to grow economic strength outside of the metro Atlanta area. In his press conference after recapping recent successes with job growth in Atlanta, the governor outlined opportunities that he saw elsewhere throughout the state. Let's take a look.
But also the opportunities that exist in rural Georgia. I've seen family farms using technology to enhance productivity. I've watched young entrepreneurs launch businesses to meet local needs, and major companies repurpose old buildings for world-class manufacturing. And in recent months, I've seen hardworking individuals repurpose those operations in the middle of a pandemic to produce hand sanitizer, face shields, and other critical supplies to help our citizens at a time of need.
He then cited statewide success, such as 24,000 new jobs in September and $7.4 billion of new investment for the 2020 fiscal year, so that includes the current pandemic. In rural Georgia, he pointed to a 30% economic growth outside of the Atlanta area, and as such, the importance of this new strike team that he was introducing. Let's see what he had to say.
Strong, my administration is committed to bringing projects of regional significance to communities that want to grow. From the start of this administration, we have worked with the Georgia Department of Economic Development to create the Rural Strike Team. The strike team will bring local developers, elected officials, industry leaders, and others together to raise the visibility of rural Georgia and to tout its benefits to the businesses looking to locate there, as well as expand.
The governor stressed that all government officials needed to remain focused, not only on protecting people during this once-in-a-century pandemic, but also their paychecks. Similarly, it was announced this week that $13 million would be given to the Technical College System of Georgia to help train Georgians whose jobs were affected by the pandemic. Even pre-COVID, many saw Georgia as a place of economic opportunity. Many companies moved their headquarters here, and many industries have started to take new routes, such as the film industry. Now, the latest trends in COVID case metrics are showing a slight uptick, so hopefully the state will be able to maintain its economic trajectory. In Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Philip Toledo, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
So Philip, what economic signs are you seeing in the local community there, and is it showing any progress?
Yeah, that's a good question, Alan. I just even here in I am, a little bit different from the report was focused on outside of Atlanta, but technically I'm in the Atlanta metropolitan area. But you know, just when you go out and you go, just as an example, to the grocery store or the gas station, aside from everybody wearing masks, it almost feels just like it did before the pandemic. People are out and about, they're spending money. You know, when you're out driving around, you see cars with those, you know, new license plates, the ones that say that we were waiting for the dealer to send the, or for the county to send the tag. So people are out and spending money. At the same time, there are a lot of industries that are still hurt. There's a big travel industry, you know, based out of here in Atlanta, you know, with the world's busiest airport, or at least at, you know, before COVID, this was the world's busiest airport. A lot of the hospitality industry and tourism, those are still taking a little bit longer to get back up. But, you know, just within my own circle, I know that, you know, there's people that are, maybe it's not as busy as before, but, you know, there's still jobs. People are still, you know, looking for new things. And, you know, from that regard, it does look hopeful, but, you know, you just have to look outside and see everybody in masks to be reminded that, you know, the pandemic is still here and we don't really know, you know, what the long-term effects of it are going to be on the economy.
Philip, a little later in our broadcast, we're going to be talking about National Color Day. And in as much as you mentioned that you're seeing cars out on the road, I want to ask you, what color car really catches your eye? Or maybe even tell us what color your car is.
They're more or less the same answer, Alan. It's, I don't know the one-word name to call it, but it's kind of like a blue-gray. I really like the gray metallic type colors, but then you add a little bit of blue into it. So like for my car now that I have, depending on the way that the lights hits it, you might think it's more gray or more blue. But I like those kind of muted, I don't know how else to describe it, but those muted kind of metallic colors, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you got the color you wanted. And for some reason, I'm imagining that your car is very fast. Philip, thank you so much for this report.
Thank you, Alan.
The Pensacola Bay Bridge sustains significant damage during Hurricane Sally. Eagle News correspondent Jim Sewell has the story.
Behind me is the Pensacola Bridge, also known as 3 Mile Bridge, that connects the city of Pensacola with Gulf Breeze and Pensacola Beach. Normally, this bridge would be loaded with beachgoers and commuters alike. But right now it's empty, and it probably will be for quite some time.
The original Bay Bridge was built in 1931 and was widened in 1987. The current planned reconstruction of the bridge began in 2016 using a design-build contractor, Skanska USA, for the project. On Wednesday, September 16, 2020, Hurricane Sally, after spending days churning in the Gulf of Mexico, made landfall near Gulf Shores, Alabama, a few miles west of Pensacola, landing nearly 100 miles east of where most predictions had placed it earlier in the same week. The hurricane's high winds and storm surge in Pensacola's Bay before and after landfall jarred the many large construction barges loose from their moorings, sending them careening around the bay and smashing into numerous public and private structures. Florida Senator Doug Broxson confirmed that during the storm, a barge-based crane passed under the bridge and smashed through the surface of the road from beneath. The collision happened a day after a different construction barge, owned by contractor Skanska USA, had broken loose and struck a fishing pier before becoming lodged beneath the Pensacola Bay Bridge on Tuesday morning. The bridge was closed immediately Tuesday and never reopened before it was hit again sometime in the early morning hours on Wednesday. Broxson said the contractor made the decision not to move the equipment out of the area based on projections showing Hurricane Sally making landfall well west of Pensacola, leaving Pensacola on the devastating side of winds and rain. The $430 million 3 Mile Bridge project was expected to be completed by November 2021, but as FDOT continues assessments, no news of a definite revised completion date has been provided to the Bay Area resident. Today, many unrecovered barges still litter the bay's coast. The impact of Pensacola residents who regularly cross the 3 Mile Bridge to gain access to Pensacola Beach is an inconvenience, But for commuters who rely on the bridge to go to their jobs, the added 45 to 60-minute detour caused by the bridge damage Sally inflicted is a major burden, which had them hoping that work can resume quickly to allow for a partial reopening of lanes across the bridge.
In Pensacola, Florida, Jim Sewell, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Governor John Bel Edwards issues a proclamation in honor of Senator John Brew in commemoration of the 30th anniversary of the Brew Act. In Baton Rouge, Nicole Padilla reports.
Thank you, Alan, and hello from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On Wednesday, October 21, Governor John Bel Edwards issued a proclamation in order to honor former Senator John Brew for the 30th anniversary of the Coastal Wetlands Planning Protection and Restoration Act, which is also known as the Brew Act. The Brew Act was established in 1990. Through the Brew Act, 226 coastal restoration projects have been authorized. It has also directed more than $2 billion in investment into the restoration of Louisiana's coastal wetlands. John Brew said that coastal erosion in Louisiana is like a silent hurricane that happens every day, all day. The land we lose from coastal erosion is lost forever, and everything we can do to postpone and repair the damage is incredibly important. One of my proudest accomplishments is the passage of the Brew Act and what it means to generations and generations of Louisianans. The Brew Act established a system for developing and implementing projects in partnership with federal agencies as well as state and local representatives. Colonel Stephen Murray added that the Brew Act is one of the nation's most successful coastal planning, protection, and restoration endeavors. In addition, the Brew Act have created the Coastwide Reference Monitoring System. This system collects data measuring changes along the coast that can be used to improve future projects and inform future plans. Also, the Brew Act established a reliable funding stream for coastal restoration that has connected boaters and other sportsmen to the sustainability of the sportsman's paradise. Governor John Bel Edwards said, Louisiana is now an international leader in coastal restoration, due in large part to Senator Brew's efforts that put a spotlight on our coastal land loss crisis 3 decades ago. Thanks to Senator Brew, Washington, D.C. took notice of the importance of Louisiana's wetlands and provided funds to speed restoration. Senator Brew built a legacy that will benefit the people of Louisiana for years to come, and we thank him for the investments he made in the future of our state. Hope you're doing well there, Alan, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm Nicole Padilla, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Despite an alarming COVID-19 resurgence in Las Vegas, it's business as usual at the entertainment capital of the world. In Las Vegas, Bureau Chief Anna Cui has the details.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, according to health officials, Clark County is back on the hotspot list as the number of cases and positivity rate continue to trend upward. For a 30-day average here in Clark County, there is 463 cases per 100,000, and it should be below 200. And the current positivity rate is at 9.1%. But despite this alarming numbers, Governor Sisolak, on his recent press conference 2 days ago, is not announcing any new directive or adding restrictions. Instead, he reminds Nevadans to continue to unite in following the guidelines. He states that he knows everyone is suffering from pandemic fatigue, but it's not the time to let their guard down. He will be announcing more information on plan to deliver a vaccine for COVID-19 at his next press conference next week, and we'll keep you up to date on that. In the meantime, as I mentioned, business as usual, this vacation destination city continues to work on improving visitor experience in every aspect possible. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority's Board of Directors had a meeting last week announcing updates that Elon Musk's tunneling company submitted special permit to the city of Las Vegas to expand its underground tunneling endeavor, calling it the Vegas Loop Project. It will consist of underground tunnels stretching as far as north as downtown Las Vegas to as far south as the Allegiant Stadium. Approval from the Stadium Authority is supposed to come this week. Steve Hill, the Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority President and CEO, says The Vegas Loop will be a game changer for our visitors seeking to quickly access world-class attractions and resorts throughout the city in a fun and convenient way. The first part of this project, Alan, as we reported a few months ago, is the Convention Center Loop and is scheduled for completion already in January 2021. Additionally, the construction of the 1.4 million square foot Las Vegas Convention Center West Hall expansion is expected to be completed in December 2020. They had actually planned that to be ready for CES 2021. And as we know, CES 2021 will be done virtually. In other news, MGM Resorts announced on Tuesday the first shows to return after months of closure, following the current government guidelines, of course. Shows to reopen at MGM Grand, Luxor, and Excalibur on November 6th, which is, 3 weeks away, including David Copperfield and Jabberwockies and Carrot Top, to name a few. And despite the pandemic, dining here in Las Vegas continues to be an elevated experience, with multiple resort and hotel properties such as the Venetian, Aria, and Wynn Las Vegas opening top-name restaurants, adding to its already diverse culinary lineup ready for 2021. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Now, Anna, how do you feel about the city opening more despite the increasing COVID-19 infection numbers?
How do I know? How did I know that you were going to ask me that, Alan? You know, it really makes me nervous because just as Philip had mentioned, you know, he noticed it's like business as usual. There's a lot of people on the road, a lot of people on the Strip, Las Vegas Strip, whenever we do go out and, you know, take a look there. As a matter of fact, in the Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority website, for between July and September, they don't have, of course, they don't have the official numbers yet. There's been more than 200,000 visitors that came to Vegas. So it does make me nervous, but, you know, I just continue to wear my mask and really just, you know, continue to do the social distancing and wash my hands when I get home from anywhere. And I do that. I also remind that for my family. But at the same time, you know, I feel it for the entertainment and hospitality industry. A lot of unemployed. There were over 400,000 people that became unemployed when all of that shut down. So I feel for them. I don't know. We just have to continue, I guess, you know, to do our part. But at the same time, you know, I don't know. It just goes on, I guess. Life goes on. Alan.
Right, and I call that just being human. And now, Anna, in our discussion near the end of our broadcast is going to be about National Color Day. And whenever I think about color, 3 areas normally affects people when it comes to color. Food, fashion, and feelings. Of the 3, without spilling the beans, without telling us, you know, exactly what it is you're going to contribute in our discussion later, of those 3, which one has a stronger pull on you? Food, fashion, or feelings?
I think fashion, wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. Great. And I knew it was going to be fashion. After all, I do see you supporting Dodger Blue. So Los Angeles certainly does appreciate that. Thank you so much, Anna, for your report.
Thank you, Alan.
When we come back, we'll have updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Glendale, North Hills, and Sacramento, California, plus tonight's business news with Bobby Soriano in New York. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Bakit naman? Ang raw materials daw ng mask at tissue products ay iisa lang. Saan naman galing ang balitang yan? Ay basta, narinig ko lang din. Maraming din kayang nagpo-post sa Facebook at Twitter, kaya kung ako sa'yo, kumuha ka na din. Sige na't mauna na ako sa'yo
Huwag basta-basta magpaniwala
sa mga nakikita
o nababasa sa social media.
Magsaliksik at i-verify ang lahat ng impormasyon
Nakukuha sa internet.
Tandaan,
Maging responsable tayo
sa paggamit ng social media,
nang hindi magdulot ng panic sa iba.
kung paanong dapat labanan ng COVID-19.
Ay gayon din ang ating pagsugpo.
sa black propaganda
At maling impormasyon.
Dennis Lu,
Lou Amelda,
Regional Partosa,
Tyranel Pililu.
Hannibal Arevalo,
EBC.
Japan,
Euro,
we live in interesting times.
This is Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. If you think watching baseball on TV in your living room is different because there's no ballpark food to complete it, well, think again. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles partners with Home Plates to bring ballpark food to fans' homes. In Glendale, Annabelle de Mesa is with us tonight.
Thank you, Alan. Dodger Stadium partners with Home Plates to bring ballpark food to fans at their homes. With the current pandemic sweeping the nation, many businesses and organizations have needed to adjust their regular day-to-day operations to remain afloat or maintain the excellent customer service to their consumers despite the current events happening around us. The hospitality industry, primarily restaurants and eateries, have transitioned to curbside or contactless delivery services through Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Dodger Stadium has also partnered with Home Plates to provide Dodger fans with a ballpark food experience safely in the comfort of their own living rooms while they watch the games on TV. This new partnership will bring Dodger Stadium fan favorites like Dodger dogs, garlic fries to go along with the snacks, salads, and dessert options. In addition to premium Dodger dogs, items specifically produced for Home Plates include individual thin crust Brooklyn-style pizza, carne asada, helmet nachos, and Dodgers Blue Gelato. The service is launching exclusively on Postmates and can be delivered to those in the Hollywood, West Hollywood, and downtown Los Angeles area. According to Tucker Kane, Dodgers president of Business Enterprise, in launching Home Plates, we're bringing the unforgettable Dodger Stadium experience home to Angelinos. Los Angeles sports fans will now have year-round access to their favorite stadium flavors, whether it's for a gourmet game day, celebration, or just to satisfy an everyday craving. Dodgers fans are highly encouraged to visit dodger.com/homeplates for more information on this new and exciting service. In Glendale, California, Annabelle de Mesa, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Annabelle, every time that shot of the burger came up on screen, I was saying, I need to order me some of that Dodger food. So let's say I want to order some from Home Plates. Will there be a delivery service fee if I order food through Home Plates?
Actually, no, Alan, which is great news for Dodger fans. Customers will not be charged a delivery fee as long as they meet the minimum basket size when they subscribe to Postmates Unlimited. Alan?
Well, I don't think that'll be a problem. I think everybody will order a ton of food on their Postmates account. And now, in our discussion later, it's going to be about National Color Day. We already asked about food, fashion, and feelings. Well, fashion was already taken. Since you're talking about food, without telling us too much about what you'll contribute later, when we're talking about food, does more colorful food appeal to you, or it doesn't really matter?
I have an affinity to anything black. So when I see black ice cream or even black spaghetti, that's one of the first things I consider before ordering or considering anything else in a restaurant.
All right, Annabelle, I'm going to have to go with you. Black ice cream. Okay, I've seen black squid ink pasta. I think that's the thing. But black ice cream, yeah, you'll have to swing by and we'll go an exploration together. Thank you, Annabelle, for that report.
For sure. Thank you, Valen.
And so it begins in Orange County. COVID-19 vaccine clinical trial by Immunity Bio has been administered to its first healthy participant at the Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach. In North Hills, Eagle News correspondent Pro Rogacion has the details.
Thank you, Alan. Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach administers the COVID-19 vaccine by Immunity Bio to its first healthy participant as phase 1 of clinical trials commences in California. Phase 1 clinical trial of the COVID-19 vaccine begins in Orange County at Newport Beach Hoag Hospital. The vaccine was developed by Immunity Bio, a company based here in El Segundo, California. Just a week ago, Immunity Bio received approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to begin the first part of the clinical trial on the administration of the COVID-19 vaccine and collaborated with Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach to conduct the trial on healthy and adult volunteer ages 18 to 55 years old. During this first phase, 2 doses of the vaccine is to be given, and the staff of Hoag Hospital will monitor the safety of the patients and reactions caused, including signs and symptoms. Dr. Patrick Soon Chong, Chairman and CEO of Immunity Bio, states, while there are a number of vaccine candidates in development, we believe most are limited by their sole focus on antibody responses to the monovalent spike protein, which may be insufficient to activate the full potential of the immune system to fight the coronavirus. By targeting the nucleocapsid protein in the interior of the virus particle, as well as the spike protein on the virus's surface, we believe this vaccine can stimulate both T-cell mediated and antibody mediated immunity to SARS-CoV-2. This is a great news for Los Angeles residents who are looking forward to a possible end to this pandemic. In Los Angeles County, the number of new cases has increased today with 3,600 newly reported cases and 18 new deaths. The high number of new positive cases is because of a backlog due to technical hurdles over the past several days. The total number of confirmed cases in the county are 294,065 with 6,956 deaths and 777 hospitalizations as announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. In North Hills, California, Pearl Rogoshan, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Alan?
Pearl, that number of newly reported cases today is pretty high. Any explanation for that?
Yes, Alan, the high number of new positive cases is because of a backlog due to the technical hurdles over the past several days. Although the county is still on Tier 1 of the state's health guidelines, LA is actually on the right path of improvements, as current hospitalizations due to COVID-19 is a lot lower compared to a few months ago. Alan?
Now, we do have a colorful discussion later on in our broadcast, and I already threw out the food, fashion, feelings. Food and fashion were already taken, but instead of going into feelings, I'm going to expand a little bit more to another word, furniture. And from that, I'm going to springboard into interior decoration, because that has to do with color. Pearl, when it comes to your home, do you take any tips from your husband, or are you the only one you can trust with decorating your home?
Alan, that is actually a hard question. As a matter of fact, if I were to be asked, I would ask my husband, but if it matches my pick or what color I choose, that would be okay. But if it doesn't match or it's the opposite, then that's going to be a long conversation, or it's going to be something that we need to talk about. So it's really hard. It's hard to pick.
Well, I'm glad that you that he has a say in some of the design at your home. Pearl, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you, Alan.
It's no secret that the pandemic has pretty much messed up and is still messing up the economy worldwide. Severely hit are the small businesses in our communities. In an effort to help these businesses get back on their feet, Sacramento hosts virtual events. In Sacramento, JP Era reports.
Here in Sacramento, we currently have a total number of 24,956 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Since the beginning of this pandemic, and even until now, businesses and business owners have been heavily impacted by the hardship that the coronavirus has placed on the economy. Most businesses were required to either shut down some of their operations or even fully shut down due to safety requirements outlined by the CDC. To help those who are impacted by this, Sacramento County has launched various virtual events that small businesses can register for to learn many different things on how to maneuver in the economy during the time of this crisis. These virtual events aim to assist small businesses not only in the present situation, but also even in preparing for the future. These virtual events can be found at the Sacramento COVID Relief website at sacramentocovidrelief.org and will run from October 20th to December 30th. On the site, they have a full list of upcoming events that businesses and business owners can sign up for. The webinars that they can attend range from writing and developing business plans to legal compliances and even marketing strategies. With business owners facing these unprecedented hardships, Sacramento is taking action to ensure that small businesses are supported during these times. Providing assistance like this is essential to keeping small businesses and the workforce healthy, which all the more leads to bettering the local economy. In Sacramento, JP Era, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Several items from our business desk tonight. Facebook is looking to finally make profit from WhatsApp. The streaming service Quibi is shutting down. And today's major earnings announcements. In New York, Eagle News correspondent Bobby Soriano has the details.
Good evening. U.S. markets have closed, and here are your latest business headlines. WhatsApp looks to finally bring in a profit for Facebook without additional costs to its user base. The messaging service was bought by Facebook in 2014. Since then, investors have been curious as to how Facebook would be able to bring in revenue from an app that provides free messaging to its 2 billion users. Users were concerned that the initial buyout would lead to service fees or in-app advertisements, much like the ones seen on Facebook and Instagram. However, in a report by the Wall Street Journal, Facebook disclosed that it would be generating revenue from merchants who use the app to communicate with customers. Although US and European users use WhatsApp for personal messaging, the app has allowed users in developing nations to communicate with customers in a more efficient way than phone calls or emails. Facebook looks to capitalize on this segment of its user base by providing tools to help online merchants connect to their customers, such as in-app purchasing of goods at a low-cost fee per transaction. Ever heard of Quibi? You wouldn't be alone if you said no. The streaming service that went live 6 months ago and hailed by investors as the next big thing by Hollywood announced this week that it would be closing up its operations. The company, with its focus on short-form, mobile original content, was able to raise $1.75 billion in funding with big names such as Spielberg, Chrissy Teigen, and even the Kardashians getting involved in projects for the streaming service. However, the lack of viewership in the target audience of 18 to 34-year-olds led to founder Jeffrey Katzenberg informing investors that the company will be shutting its doors. Critics of the company blame the company's failure squarely on Katzenberg and CEO Meg Whitman, who were seen as out of touch for the new form of media. For some of today's major earnings results, we begin with Coca-Cola beating expectations in both sales and revenue, with improved at-home sales channels offsetting the decrease in away-from-home channels. Southwest Airlines sees its biggest quarterly loss on record, matching similar results from other airline companies as the industry as a whole continues to struggle. And lastly, earnings by technology company Intel fell in line with analyst expectations, but shares fell after the company reported less than expected revenue from its data center business. U.S. jobless claims inched downward to 787,000 for the week of October 17, showing a steady but slow recovery in the labor market. U.S. indices were slightly positive today as investors continue to wait on any progress to the stimulus talks. Reporting from New York, Bobby Soriano, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thanks, Bobby, for that report. When we come back, for arts and culture, Centro Rizal, Washington, D.C. promotes hope and tradition through face mask designs. Plus, a conversation about what impact color has on us. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Turuan din natin ang mga bata ng tamang paghugas ng mga kamay. Basain ang kamay ng tubig at lagyan ng sabon. Kuskusin ang iyong mga palad. Gayon din ang pagitan ng mga daliri. Pati na ang likod ng mga palad at daliri. Ganon din ang iyong hinalaki, kasama ang mga dulo ng iyong mga daliri. Pagkatapos ay iyong palapulsuhan. Gawin ito ng kahit 20 segundo. Pagkatapos ay banlawan ng tubig at patuyuin.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Sino ba ang pupuno ng third and final spot sa ating second monthly finals? Abangan natin sa Tagisan ng Galing Part 2 Dance Edition!
Welcome back. This is Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. Celebrating National Indigenous Peoples Month, Central Rizal in the U.S. Capitol hosts a webinar about promoting Filipino ethnic designs and how to help provide sustainable livelihoods to the Philippine indigenous communities. In Alexandria, Virginia, Chris Gonzalez has the colorful details.
Thank you, Alan. October is the Indigenous Peoples Month, and to celebrate the beginning of this year's events, Central Rizal in Washington, D.C. hosted a webinar about the promotion of ethnic Filipino designs, preservation of traditional weaving techniques, and efforts to provide sustainable livelihood to indigenous communities in the Philippines, especially in this time of a global health crisis. Face mask designs, Weaving Stories of Hope and Tradition in the Time of COVID-19 was a virtual program organized by Central Rizal, Washington, D.C., with the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or NCAA, through its Padayon, Paglikha sa Panahon ng Pandemya initiative geared towards inspiring Filipinos overseas to move forward despite the pandemic. Speakers of the event were Wilson Limon, Creative Director of Nino Franco, Gwendolyn Torres of Philology, and Joyce Puno of Love Sweatshop. Nino Franco showcases Filipino art and culture via contemporary fashion as it provides sustainable livelihood to its partner indigenous communities, the Blaans from Sarangani and Bagobo Tagabawa from Bansalan, Davao del Sur. Philology is an e-commerce company that re-educates local and international audiences about Philippine culture, working side by side with Annabelle weavers from Ilocos, Kalinga weavers and beaders, Sama Bajau free divers, Mangyan weavers and embroiderers, Maguindanao weavers, Yakan weavers of Mindanao, and the Banig weavers from the Tausog of Jolo, Waray of Tacloban, Bajau of Tawi-Tawi, and Molbog of Palawan. Meanwhile, Love Sweatshop is a DC-based group of volunteers sewing and distributing non-medical grade and washable face masks to frontliners, the homeless, seniors, families, and children in need. If you wish to view the full webinar, moderated by the Embassy's Cultural Attaché, Leah Makadangdang, visit the Embassy's Facebook page. In Alexandria, Virginia, Chris Gonzalez, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Well, thank you, Chris, for showing us those very colorful masks. They were beautiful. And speaking of color, we're going to talk about now the observance of National Color Day. And who better to go to than our team of color experts. We have Philip, Anna, Annabelle, Pearl, and myself. So it's actually Team A's with the us named with the letter A and Team P. And before I go to our team here, I'm just going to tell you that for me, I do have a color combination, 2 colors that I put together that promotes a feeling in me. And that feeling is a feeling of trust or confidence. I'm just going to let that kind of simmer in your mind. I have a color combination, 2 colors, and when I put them together, it promotes a feeling of trust and confidence in me. But enough about myself. I want to go first to our A team. Anna, talk about how color impacts your life. So Anna, we'll go ahead and wait for your microphone.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey, Alan.
Hi.
So I just realized that my wardrobe consists of mostly blue color, blue, black, and gray, but mostly blue. And I just actually Googled, why that is. And it applies to me. It says when you're more attracted to blue, it's because you have a deep need for peace and harmony. And that's true for me. I don't like conflict. I like to have peace all the time, so I pray for that. So I think that applies to me, and maybe that's why I'm attracted to blue, because it's calming and it's peaceful. Alan.
And Anna, that is so you. For all the years I've known you, whenever you speak, your demeanor, I am immediately soothed if I've even had a bad day. And, I will tell you that I mentioned that I have a color combination that promotes a feeling of trust or confidence in me. I will tell you that one of the 2 colors is blue. So maybe you and I are on the same frequency here.
You might be, Alan.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our other member of our A team, Annabelle. How does color impact your life?
Well, ironically, one of my favorite colors is blue and black, but I like wearing black the most. But that doesn't mean I ignore the other colors. I have a habit of highlighting things in different colors in order for me to focus on them. So just like at work, I have a pricing book that I use for my clients. And, unless I highlighted certain items on the list, I will read the wrong lines all the time. So highlighting is a common action for me, and it's very helpful because not only does it brighten my day and make work a little bit more interesting, it also enhances my focus and minimizes mistakes.
Now, Annabelle, you mentioned highlighting. Are you the type of person that uses the very common yellow highlight? Do you like to go for the pinks or greens? What color highlight do you use?
Yellow is my favorite one because I often have to copy it and copy all the papers that I highlight on. And yellow, for some reason, doesn't show when you copy them on a printer. But if I ever have to show my work, orange is a little bit more out there without sticking out. And then if something really has to be there, then red will definitely do the job in grabbing your attention.
Annabelle, you're completely blowing my mind. You said red. You have red highlighters. I'm trying to. You have black ice cream, black spaghetti, and red highlighters. I'm definitely hanging out with the wrong crowd. We have to talk more often. Now, Annabelle, before I move on to our P team over here, I did mention that I had a color combination. Do you have any guesses? What do you have any guesses? What is the other color that is in my two-color combination that promotes trust or confidence, the feeling of trust or confidence in me? Do you have any guesses?
It's a guess, but I don't know if it's correct. The two commonest colors I can think of are blue and green. So would the other color be green? I don't know.
Okay, well, you know what? My answer is no comment. Let's move on to Pearl. Pearl, please talk to us. How does color impact your life?
Okay. So we've already talked about earlier about furniture. So definitely when I decide about that in the house, I definitely have to consider, because I have 3 boys, my husband, 2 boys, and then my 2 kids. So it's only me. If I would think for a pink, I will really make sure that that's only for me. But if I'm here, I would have to consider, because my youngest favorite color is green. My youngest is blue, and then now it comes with and gold, also gold, and then my eldest he likes green and red. So it's really hard here, surrounded by boys, but definitely they always prevail. For some reason, whenever I pick for a color, it's always like I always have to think for them, not for me. But if I would pick something for me, usually I'd always play safe with, which is always black. So that's what's been happening around here, or at least with how I decide with colors. Alan?
My comment on that, Pearl, is real men wear pink. And in a moment, I'm going to ask a real man, Philip, to comment on that. But before I move to Philip, Pearl, I'm going to let you have a guess. We already established blue is one of my colors in my color combination. You have any guess what my other color is? Green's already taken. What's your guess?
I would say white.
Dodgers. Dodgers.
Blue and white.
Yeah, I like that. I like your train of thought there. We'll find out how close or correct you are. Let's move on to Philip. Philip, do real men wear pink?
They do.
There you go. Now talk to us. How does color impact your life, sir?
Yeah, so, I've been listening to everyone's answers. I think when I look at my closet, I'm similar to Anna, where I have a lot of blues, and I didn't have time to Google it, but if I can Anna-quee it, I guess I now learned that, that it helps with the conflict, because I'm also a person who doesn't really like conflict. But just in general, like even just our house, and I tend to lean towards darker colors, more of those earthy tones. I don't know if it's because someone told me once a long time ago that darker colors were more slimming, and that's why I wear gray, and I like wearing darker clothes, especially the last 6 months of staying inside for the pandemic. But even just when I think about trying to find a sense of calm and relaxation, being outside in like a woodsy or mountainous environment is kind of like what I think about when I want to go relax. And so having those similar colors in the house is what I look for.
We like that. We like that, Philip. And yes, I agree. We should Anna-quee it all the time. Now, before I go to my color combination real quickly, do you have a guess what my other color is?
Red.
That promotes red.
It's red.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what my color combination is. It's blue and purple. Blue and purple. They evoke in me a feelings of trust, confidence, because those are the color combinations of Eagle Broadcasting Corporation, our logo. So if you want fair, accurate, trustworthy reporting, you got to go to Eagle News. You know who else is trustworthy? Our healthcare workers. And we come to that point in our broadcast where we thank our healthcare workers, first responders, and essential workers with a round of applause. We appreciate you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Basoyahe. We live in interesting times.